Hello, my name is Nikki, known here as the One-Handed Bandit. And in today's video, I will be recommending some products to people who are starting out with makeup or people who enjoy makeup but just don't know what to purchase. Because I remember when I was starting out in makeup and I would purchase everything that I saw looked good on anyone. It doesn't matter whether they were black or Caucasian. I just saw that it worked for them and I purchased it. And then I ended up wasting a lot of money. Sometimes a product would work for someone and it didn't work for me, or I thought that they were my skin tone and they were actually lighter or darker, and it just didn't work for me. So I'm going to give you some suggestions on products to use. So let's get started. So starting with foundation, I would definitely stick with drugstore, only because they are inexpensive. Because if you think about a drugstore foundation, it's anywhere between, I would say, $6 up until maybe $15. Whereas if you would go to Sephora, you'll probably pay anywhere from $30 and up. So if you're new to makeup and if you want to wear makeup, you know, every day, going to work, going to school, if you're in college, high school, things like that, I wouldn't recommend spending $30 or more on a foundation that you're using every day, because you're going to go through that foundation very, very quickly, and pretty soon you're going to run out of funds, and that's not a good thing. So with a $6 to a $10 foundation would probably be feasible. You can get more bang for your buck. So I mentioned this foundation on my channel before. I'm quite sure if you watch my videos you are familiar with the L'Oreal Fresh Wear foundation. I love this foundation. It is very comparable to the Huda Beauty foundation. Another foundation that is really, really good is the Covergirl Trublend matte foundation, and as you can see, I really went through this foundation. It is a really good foundation. It is full coverage and it definitely gets the job done. Another favorite of mine is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1. The 2-in-1 foundation from the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation. I love this foundation. I have very little left in here, and every time I go to the drugstore I always forget to pick it up. So I don't want to use the last little bit because I don't want to run out, and then what if I can't find my shade? So I'm kind of crazy when it comes to my makeup products, so that's just a personal preference of mine. But yes, those three foundations are definitely good for people to start out with. Also from the drugstore, I also recommend the Covergirl, their Trublend concealer as well. I have used this quite a bit on my channel, as well as the Maybelline Fit Me concealer as well. Both really good full coverage concealers. They will cover all of those party nights, all of those late nights crying about your boyfriend. It will cover all of that. So now, because you do have those concealers, you always have to set anything that is wet, you have to set it with a powder. So for setting powders, I would recommend the Crayon Case Chalk Dust Setting Powder. I know it is a little bit pricey. It's about $20, but a little bit goes a long way. I purchased this maybe a year and a half ago, and I barely went through any of it. So this is very good for setting. It's very comparable to the Sacha Buttercup setting powder to me personally. And if you don't want to order online, you can definitely grab this powder from the drugstore. This is the Maybelline Fit Me setting powder. also great as well. I still compare this to the Huda Beauty setting powder also. Now let's move on to eyeshadows. Now I don't have any eyeshadow palettes that you can outright purchase in the drugstore, but I do know that e.l.f. and Wet n Wild and yeah, e.l.f. and Wet n Wild, they both have some really good eyeshadows that you can purchase in store. I have some that I probably have to dig up, but they're very, very old. I think it was called the Comfort Zone palette that everyone was going crazy over. But I do have two palettes that are not too pricey. These are the It's My Ray Ray palettes from BH Cosmetics. I'm not 100% sure if these are still sold on BH Cosmetics website. But one of the things I did like about the first palette is because it serves multiple purposes. So this is what the first one looks like. So you have a full eyeshadow palette here. You also have a bronzer, you have highlight that you can also set under your eye as well. And then you have these highlighters here at the top. So you get a full look out of this entire palette. And they also collaborated with It's My Ray Ray for a second round, and they came out with this palette as well. And this is very good for a beginner. I did hear that some of the BH Cosmetics palettes are sold in Kohl's and a few other stores. Another recommendation is from ColourPop. ColourPop collaborated with Makeup Shayla and they came out with two palettes. The first one is called the Perception palette. This was one of my favorite palettes about a year or two ago, and you have all of these neutrals down here at the bottom, which is for, you know, they're brown skin friendly, and then you have all of these accent shades here as well. They also collaborated with Shayla for a second time, and they came out with the Proceed with Caution collection. It came with a palette, blushes, highlights, lip liners, and liquid lipsticks as well. And I don't know what happened to one of my shades, but one seems to want to always pop out. But this is what the palette looks like. It's this shade right here that wants to pop out. It's a black shimmer, but this is a really gorgeous palette as well. This yellow looks very nice on my skin tone. For highlight, I do recommend the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighters. I have 50 and 100. 50 is rose gold and 100 is molten gold. Very nice highlighters, which I use all the time. I even use them with my high-end products as well. You can never go wrong with Maybelline products. I haven't used not one Maybelline product that I didn't enjoy. And then also I do recommend a really good bronzer. If you're going to stay in the drugstore, I do recommend the Covergirl bronzer. And this is very old. The packaging probably doesn't look like this anymore, but it is in the shade Ebony. And this bronzer is a cult favorite. Everyone on YouTube was using this bronzer. As you can see, I'm starting to hit pan because you can see the pan lines right underneath. For a all over setting powder, you know, once you put that foundation on, you also have to set the foundation if you want it to last all day. And a good setting powder is the Soft Focus setting powder from Black Radiance. The entire Black Radiance line is really good as well. If you want to grab their bronzers, their blushes, their lips, even their foundation is really good. I used to use that a lot in the beginning of my makeup career. And then also from ColourPop, I do recommend their lip liners. They are very brown girl friendly, especially the dark brown ones. I would recommend the BFF4 and BFF3. Shayla did come out with BFF4 with her Proceed with Caution collection. And another good one is also Pitch. That is a good shade as well, and Ellery collaborated with them as well, and her liner in the shade Ellery is also good for brown skin as well. And ColourPop is very inexpensive. I think these liners are maybe $6 on their website. Their palettes, none of their palettes are over $20, so they're very inexpensive and affordable. And then also, if you're in the drugstore as well, I would recommend NYX Cosmetics, their suede line of liners. This one is in the shade Downtown Beauty. I use this all the time. As you can see, this is a pretty long liner, and as you can see, I've used quite a bit of it. Downtown Beauty is my go-to. Also, NYX Espresso. Those two are the top two liners that I would recommend from NYX Cosmetics if you definitely want to grab something from the drugstore. All of these products are inexpensive. I think the most expensive one would probably be the setting powder from the Crayon case. But if you want to go, you know, if your pockets are pretty... But if you want to stay low cost, I believe the Fit Me powder is about maybe $10. And now for lips, I do also, again, another product from ColourPop. This was also with the Makeup Shayla collaboration as well. This is in the shade Speed Up. All of Shayla's collaborations with ColourPop are very brown girl friendly. I mean, she's a brown girl, so they do work for brown skinned girls. And if you want to stay with drugstore, I'm not sure if these are still available, but NYX Cosmetics has these intense butter glosses. I know some drugstores sell them. Walgreens, Duane Reade, Rite Aid, CVS, those type of drugstores sell NYX Cosmetics. And they recently re-released their butter glosses, and they revamped the line. Some people were saying that, you know, the shades were different from back in the day till now, but if you happen to stumble upon any NYX butter glosses, then definitely pick them up. Some beauty supply stores have them. I know I've seen them in the past. They were in like a bin for like $1. But the normal price for these was maybe, I think, either $5 or $6.99. You may even be able to find some at your Ulta, so it all depends on your preference. But the NYX butter glosses are a very good recommendation to start out with your lipsticks and lip glosses. So that is all of my recommendations for you today. I hope that you have enjoyed. If you have some products that you would recommend for a beginner, leave those comments down below and let's discuss some of your recommendations. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.